Okay, so it's time for us to go ahead and get back into our coverage over the Ultimate Marvel Universe. And so, with that being said, we're going to sit down and cover some more Ultimate Wolverine. And we're going to pick up with Ultimate Wolverine issues number 9 and issue number 10 as well. Now, issue number 10 is the one I really do want to talk about, but we can't skip issue number 9 because issue number 9 kind of gives us some information about the idea of Sentinels being in the Ultimate Marvel universe. But as we get into the opening pages of the storyline, we really do pick up with this one Sentinel arriving at this facility. Now, we do learn very early on that this Sentinel is really more of a carrier Sentinel that usually goes out there to find mutants and bring those mutants back over to the facility. The problem is that when it did arrive, it was supposed to give out some kind of code. The problem is that right now, it's not really able to give that code out. And so you have the people who work at that facility kind of go out there to examine the Sentinel. Except when they get out there, they realize the weapons inside that thing have begun to activate. And that tells them automatically that they're about to be attacked. So now we jump back a day and we pick up with the opposition. Now, the opposition is a group of people that had decided to come together to basically bring down the Eurasian Republic that is currently being controlled by Colossus, Magic, and also Omega Red. Now, with that being said, when it comes to the opposition, they got word about this facility that is currently being used as a way to create sentinels, but also kind of combine sentinels with mutants as well to kind of give those robots an advanced chance out there in the field. And so they got word that more and more sentinels are being sent out there to find mutants, bring those mutants back over to that facility, and those mutants are then forcibly combined with brand new sentinels being created by the master mold. And so for the opposition, their main goal is to bring down that facility. Here comes the big problem, because once they do arrive and once the alarms go off, they only have 5 minutes to complete the job, to get in, save the mutants, and get out. And the reason why, because there is a gamma core there. Once that core goes off, the whole entire place is going to get blown up just like that. And so really the rest of this issue, it's really more of us just seeing the opposition breaking out of that one sentinel we saw at the very beginning of this storyline, the one that had arrived at this facility. Now, of course, with our heroes now being known at the facility, the alarm goes off. With the alarms now going off, that means they only have 5 minutes to get in and get out. Now for Wolverine, he also finds out that Dr. Prostovich is there as well. And I really hope I pronounce her name correctly. Now, she was the doctor that had basically took Wolverine and turned him into the Winter Soldier that basically had him working for Colossus, Magic, and also Omega Red. With that being said, once you have Logan realize that she was there, his main goal right now is to bring him down. The problem is that he gets attacked by two Sentinels. One of them has the head of Cyclops inside of it, and of course, using that optic beam against Wolverine. And so while you have Logan trying his best to fight against these two Sentinels, well, for the Doctor, she's able to get away just barely. And so for Logan, he realized he has no choice to go ahead and retreat and leave with the rest of the opposition, but also the prisoners that they were able to free. And the thing is, they just got away barely, because as soon as they fly off, the gamma bomb goes off and the entire facility has been officially blown up. And so this leads us into Ultimate Wolverine issue number 10. Now, as we do get an issue number 10, we're picking up with Sabertooth having a conversation with Wolverine. And I really like this Sabertooth. I know for like the classic Marvel fans, they want like every single version of Sabertooth to be the same, where he's this savage animal out there killing people left and right. But occasionally, I kind of like the different versions to the character. Like this one right here. He tells Wolverine that he is leaving the opposition. And the reason why, because he found two boys that he wants to take care of. And that would be Artie and Leech. And we met them earlier on in our coverage over Ultimate Wolverine. And so for Sabertooth, it's him saying like, hey, Logan, listen, I'm leaving. When I do leave, I know Mikhail and also the rest of the crew, they're not going to love the idea of me leaving, but like, I want to make sure those boys are well protected. I want to be a family with them and raise those boys up. But I want to make sure they're protected and out of this area, out of this war, because I can't take the chance of them getting killed off. That would break my heart. And so for Logan, he fully understands what Sabertooth is currently saying to him. But before you have the two characters go their separate ways, you then have Sabertooth hand over Wolverine the Muramasa blade. Now, as we all know, Muramasa blade is very important when it comes to the character of Wolverine over in the main Marvel universe. We don't really dive into the whole idea of this blade, but this blade is going to be used as a way to help Wolverine kill off a certain character. But you do have Sabertooth say, this blade is so powerful, it can kill off somebody like them, people who have healing factors. But now we have to switch over to Colossus. Now, when we do, it's really more of us now seeing Colossus being very upset about the idea of finding out that his brother is still alive. Yes, Mikhail, who's right now the leader for the opposition. Now, there was this incident in the past where for Colossus, he was kind of left to believe that his brother was dead. But now it's him finding out that his brother is alive. But on top of that, his brother is now basically his enemy. Now, you also have Colossus be informed by Dr. and I know I am going to butcher this so badly, Dr. Protakovich. Ooh, I know that sounded so bad. But basically, she informs Colossus that she believes that she had found the base that belongs to the opposition. Let me explain. They have a power plant. But the thing is, their power plant is kind of undetectable in many different types of ways. But for the doctor, she found a way to find the place, and she believes the power plant is the base that belongs to the opposition. Now, when it comes to Colossus, he wants to use her bomb, but her bomb is not ready yet. So instead of using the bomb, they're kind of like, okay, let's do a ground strike. And so you have Omega Red be very happy about the idea of leading that ground strike. And so now we switch over to Wolverine. Now we see Wolverine currently saying goodbye to Sabertooth and also the two kids that he wants to raise. Except right when you have Sabertooth trying to leave and saying goodbye to Logan with the two boys by his side, that is when the base gets attacked. And so for Sabertooth, he has to go now and hurry up to protect the kids. Now for Logan, once he does get right back up, he's then confronted by Omega Red. And really, this whole entire section is just us seeing Logan fighting against Omega Red. Now, for me personally, I kind of like this a lot because it's a callback to the early 1990s where you had the classic Wolverine fighting against classic Omega Red, and that artwork was being done by Jim Lee. But either way, though, we do see Wolverine begin to fight against Omega Red. Now, at first, we're kind of left to wonder, like, how in the world the battle is going to end. How in the world did the battle end? Because by the time you do get to the end of this section, the battle's still going on, but then we jump over to Colossus. And when we do, we see Colossus now receiving a package. That package, unfortunately, is the head of Omega Red. And so it's Mikhail telling his little brother, like, listen, I didn't like your gift, so I had no choice to go ahead and send your gift right back over to you. And so for Colossus, he's very upset about the idea of losing one of his own that was really a high-ranked person in his whole entire organization. So yeah, Wolverine had killed off Omega Red with the Muramasa blade. But with that being said, guys, please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.